I'm John Lentz, City and State Senior Editor, and joining me today is Kiva Allgood, a Vice President for Business Development focusing on smart cities at Qualcomm Technologies. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And so we just had you as a panelist at our Smart City New York City Forum earlier today, and just had a few questions to ask you directly. First of all, one of the big things that's just happened recently in New York City is Link NYC came on board with some of these kiosks, either the payphones that have been converted into Wi-Fi hotspots.
Right.
If you could just tell us a little bit about how that project came together and how it's being rolled out right now.
You bet. It's I would say probably setting the bar for all other cities globally on how to really reimagine city infrastructure. So if you think about the transformation we've seen in smartphones, or in phones in general, where a phone used to do one thing and now it does hundreds of things, we strongly feel that infrastructure and city services should do the same. So we're working with the different departments across New York and really thinking through how can we use the infrastructure that's there today. So you've got all these old payphones that are rarely used, except for maybe a weapon every once in a while, or to hide from rain. And how do we make it multi-purpose? How do we reimagine it and transform it into something that's super useful for the people who live in New York City? And so we were able to work with the city very rapidly, actually, after the RFP, and we have 19 units installed now. And what that means is we're actually taking out all of the old payphones and putting in these interactive kiosks. And those interactive kiosks actually are bringing a lot of revenue back to the city as well, so they're paying for themselves. But they're also providing a huge service. They're providing gigabyte connectivity free of charge. So anybody in the city, visiting the city, grandma who can't make it to the library wants to go down and use it as a virtual library and download her latest book or video, she can. Students who maybe don't have access to the internet at home can use them as well to gain access to educational material and information. They also have all the 311 services. They have wayfinding, they have USB charging, and you can make free calls anywhere in the United States. So it's via Vonage. So I called my husband last week and the CEO of Qualcomm. I sang the Adele Hello song into it. They didn't quite get it. But so it's transformative with regard to really, again, one thing now doing so many different things. And we're going to learn a lot over the deployment on what other services can we provide and what other things do the people of New York really want to see have, kind of come into the units themselves.
And I understand it's paid for through advertising.
100% through advertising, yes. So outdoor advertising, they each have a 55-inch, very bright and brilliant screen on them. But those can also be used for city services. So if there's an Amber Alert, the city has the ability to post that information on the screens right away, including pictures. If there's a disaster or an evacuation route, it also serves as a way to get the citizens that information too.
Yeah, I was actually wondering, are these kind of a two-way device as well? There's this guy, Anthony Townsend, he's the author of this book, Smart City. Mm-hmm. He predicted that possibly these sort of devices could be used to measure noise, traffic, air pollution, things that come to mind when you talk about the possibilities of smart cities. Is that something that's built in, or is it a possibility in the future?
It's a possibility in the future. I mean, we're working with the city right now on trying to figure out what type of sensors would make the most sense. So definitely, if you think about pollution is tied to traffic and congestion. So how do you have a predictive element there? Weather, also even event type things. So you hear noise, like we've heard about the gunshot detection. There's a lot of other thumbprinting and computer intelligence that can be used. And because these are going to be so pervasive, 7,500 up to 10,000 units throughout the city, we definitely can figure out a type of sensor array that would add the most value. So we're working with the city on that right now.
And one thing that maybe doesn't come to mind immediately when you're talking about a smart city is water. And I know Qualcomm's been involved with some initiatives there. I know there's even some legislation in the works. Maybe you could just brief us on that.
Yeah, it's a passion of mine because it's one of the natural resources that is running out very rapidly and quickly. And what we've really been able to do is we've got a project that we've been working on in Saipan. And this is an environment where people can get on average less than 2 hours of water a day. And this really impacts their lives. If you have less than 2 hours of water a day, can't take a shower every day, you can't cook properly, you can't wash your clothes. And we've really worked on, by placing real-time leak detection throughout that entire system, we've been able to identify where the leaks are, where the thefts are, and they've gotten up to 4 hours of water a day now. And that was just simply through instrumentation. Our goal would be work across the U.S. to do the same thing. That way we don't have to build more desalination plants or other types of plants, that we could actually just improve the efficiency of our current water system by being able to understand where the leaks are occurring.
Kiva Allgood, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, John.